The wealth creation movement since China's opening to the outside world has shocked the world. In this round of wealth creation, many people took the opportunity to expand their pockets. Let me take you to see those people who have become abnormally rich in China in the past 30 years. 1 day. In the 1980s, the nouveau rich were mainly down-to-earths, who relied on their privileges to approve low-priced internal products and then sold them at high prices in the market, ranging from small soaps to medium-sized TVs to large steel cars. Its peak was in 1989 when Mao Kishong brought a Tu-154 aircraft from Russia and sold it to Sichuan Airlines. This made him the biggest broker in China. The reason was the asymmetry of information, because he knew that the Russian aircraft could not be sold, but in urgent need of light industrial products. He later claimed that he made 80 million to 100 million yuan from it. If the poor master falls well, it can reciprocate both parties. However, in the process of poor, there are often some controversial practices. Mao Keqi once shouldered the titles of the richest man and the first liar in China at the same time. In addition, Dai has a distinction between public and private, that is, the difference between officials and the people. Folk disciples are called private disciples, and official family disciples are called official disciples. Of course, the latter's supernatural powers are more extensive. Officials generally have power in their hands, and bribery, speculation, and fraud by taking advantage of the price difference through approval notes were the main forms of corruption in the 1980s. 2. Reorganization of state-owned enterprises. In the wave of state-owned enterprise restructuring that began in the last century, a large number of state-owned enterprise employees lost their jobs, but a group of people became rich because of black box operations. The most famous case is Gu Zhezhen. His green coal department expanded wildly, acquired loss-making state-owned enterprises, and even turned coal and electric into profit. He was once called the savior of state-owned enterprises. And each of his acquisitions of state-owned enterprises was hasty and sudden, causing more doubts to flood in. Comments about his use of a large number of related transactions and the psychology of local governments eager to restructure to facilitate transactions are not uncommon. What caused the upsurge of public opinion was that in August 2004, Lang Xianping gave a speech titled Green Cool, Carnival at the Feast of National Retirement and Democracy Advancement, accusing Gu Zhezhen of using the seven-axis trick to reform state-owned enterprises. Occupying national wealth, this famous dispute between Lang and Gu has involved many economists in it. In September 2005, Gu Zhezhen was formally arrested. In 2008, he was sentenced to 10 years in prison for false registration and misappropriation of funds. Released from prison on September 6, 2012. 3. Get rich in the stock market. After the opening of the A-share market in 1990, manipulative manipulation became popular, and a large number of billionaires emerged, the most famous being the Tang brothers of the DeLong family. The DeLong family is manifested as a phenomenon, that is, a huge financial holding group, and the stock prices of listed companies controlled by it have risen sharply without exception. Some commented that DeLong's method of comprehensively controlling the old three stocks both internally and externally is a set of various illegal methods, internal transactions, market manipulation, etc. in one model, and Tang Wangxin has achieved the ultimate. However, during the downturn in the stock market at the beginning of the 21st century, most of the DeLong stocks were returned to their original shape, and the Tang brothers went bankrupt and went to jail. 4. Smuggling. For example, Lai Changxin in the Xiamen Yuanhua case, with a scale of tens of billions, dragged a large number of high-ranking officials into the water, and finally escaped to Canada and could hardly escape prison. It is reported that there have been some myths about smuggling to get rich in coastal areas such as Chaoshan in the last century. For example, at that time, Chaoshan formed a group with a clear division of functions such as procurement, transportation, sales, and financing. Some smuggling gangs in Zhanjiang have also moved from family management to socialization, colluding with smugglers in Jiantou, Hong Kong, and other places to operate on a large scale. In these areas, the wealthiest people are mostly suspected smugglers. 5. Financial market chaos. The illegal operations in the financial market back then made many people fish in troubled waters and become rich. It is said that the 327 national debt incident that year allowed at least 4 people to complete their original accumulation or make a fortune: Wei Dong, 28 years old at the time, Yuan Beijing, 29 years old, Zhou Zhenji, 34 years old, and Lu Han, 30 years old. In the 327 national debt incident, it was reported that Wei Dong personally earned about 200 million yuan, and then his company controlled Zhizhitang, Qingjin Pharmaceutical, and Huajin Securities, etc., becoming a powerful figure in the capital market. But in 2008, he suddenly jumped to his death at his home in Beijing at the age of 41, leaving a huge mystery behind him. 6. Real estate marketization and mineral privatization. The privatization of minerals has created a large number of mine owners, but how many of them are black box operations? As for the marketization of real estate, Zhang Tingbin, the former deputy editor-in-chief of First Financial Daily and the founder of Zonghua Yuan think tank, analyzed that local governments and real estate developers have created a money-raising model, which uses the land that originally belonged to the whole people to be transferred to the public through bidding, auction, and listing. The price has been pushed to the limit of the affordability of ordinary Chinese residents, and the redistribution of wealth behind the super bubble has created an unprecedented cluster of wealthy people. Nearly half of China's billionaires are now property developers.